Okay, guys, human endocrine system and homeostasis. My name is Mr. Mpepu, and today's date 8 May 2024, Wednesday, and the time there 32 minutes past 11. With that being said, guys, sanbonani, dumelani, afsheni, hello, nda, guys, to all corners of South Africa and Africa Kabupara. I personally welcome you to my session. I personally welcome you to my class, Learning Life Science with Mr. Mpepu. Today we'll be dealing with our negative feedback and homeostasis. If you are new here, don't forget to do the right thing there. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. And far most, don't forget to share, guys, with other individuals or other South Africans out there, right? This is the basic education for everyone, whether you are doing nursing, whether you are doing lawyer, whether you are an accountant, whether you are a whatever, you are a farmer. This information can help you. So thank you for being here, guys. I see those subscribers, guys. Thank you for those subscribers. Last time I checked, we were at 210 positive there subscribers, guys. So thank you for choosing me. Thank you for subscribing. Even those who are just watching but they don't have account to subscribe, I really see you, guys, and I appreciate you. Those who are watching every day, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for choosing me, guys. Today it marks a day here at and under our week 8, right? Saying that we are joining this to be total of 2 weeks, learning human endocrine system and homeostasis, right, in humans. So what is happening in this system? We are seeing that we have the glands in our body, and these glands in our body, they are secreting hormones, and these hormones, they are called or they are chemically messenger. These hormones, they enter into our bloodstreams and being transmitted to all parts of our body. It might be the leg, it might be the hand, it might be the head, it might be the stomach, it might be wherever, all over our body. And these hormones, we learn that when they arrive there, they stimulate the cells to maintain or to stimulate or to perform a certain functions. We talked about thyroxine. When that thyroxine is produced in our throat, Mr. Mpepu, we learn that thyroxine is going to enter our bloodstreams straight to our cells, and then when it enters our cells, it's going to stimulate that metabolism. We learn about that, right? And we also learn that in this secretion process of ours, we see that we have two types of glands. We have the other ones that they are secreting to the outside environment using the ducts, and the other one that are secreting straight to the bloodstream. And we name those that are secreting to the bloodstream endocrine, and we name those that are secreting to the outside exocrine. All of them having glands. What are glands? Glands are organs that secrete one or more substances. Let's move on, Mr. People. Let's move on. When I try so, if you haven't subscribed, guys, subscribe. If you haven't like, guys. If you haven't shared, guys, share with your friends, guys. Let's join Muna. The train is very, very long. No, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we reach number 9, guys. We can house all provinces here in South Africa. Arien, guys, kancane, guys. Piki, small by small. So I'm excited for all those 210 subscribers. As you can hear, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing in. Mr. Mpepu. We are left with some minutes, right? So we started week 1, you'll agree with me, when we were learning the genes. Hey, in our DNA we have genes, and then those genes, they are going to code for a specific protein, and then that protein, the example of that protein, the hormone. Now we are seeing if now I'm telling you, or now if we are learning that our body secrete these proteins, it means that those cells there inside that organs, they are going to undergo transcription. They are going to, it means that the same process, the first process is to transcribe the message. The message is there, everything is written for us, or for the cell out there is to go and transcribe that message. You know what happened after transcription again. We are going to have translation. After translation, We produce a protein in the ribosome, right? In that protein, then that protein is going to be placed, or it's going to be produced out of amino acids. Those amino acids joining together and form a protein, and that protein can be excreted or can be released outside the cell, and then it comes outside of the cell, and then if it's going to enter our bloodstream, we say that is an exoendocrine. But if that protein that is being released is going to be released outside via the duct, like the tears, like the saliva, like the milk, we said those are the exocrine system or glands. Where did we learn it? At the 18. So you see, Lina Baba releasing from the 18th. Today now we are applying those knowledge that we learned there. Even term 1. So you see, each and every topic has to join. You are learning. There's no way tomorrow. Yeah, the beautiful of this class of mine is that there is no way that tomorrow the information that we are talking about, it will be changed. Even someone will come after 10 years, 10 or 50 or 50 years, still they will have the ribosome, they will have the DNA, they will know that they have a gene, and then in that gene we are producing a protein. And for me to stand up today and speak like this is now that protein being functioning using an ATP that is produced in mitochondria, using a DNA that is found inside the mitochondria to transcribe those ATPs. Today, what education in South Africa, we are learning the locust. Yes, bona they learn the locust. Back there they learn the locust. Now they change it, baba. Now the namele deal. Engine change it, baba. Now we have the coal malash. Now we have electricity. They change it. Back there, they learn how to what we call how to label a locust. A locust. Go and Google it. Go and check it. That was the education in South Africa. People being taught how to label a locust. It's chiye. You are not chiye. The locust is chiye. That animal that chows a meal. That insect. You know the insect, man. They were taught how to label that. The system, the everything. And then that was that. But now. Now. We are talking, or we are using the latest, what we call them what? The latest technology. This is the latest technology. The organic technology. In education in South Africa, it's useless. It's useless where? Okay, let's just say, maybe Mr. People, let's not just use, let me waste your time here. The first 10 minutes, let me waste it. We are at 7 minutes. I have a timer. So let me waste this time here. Mr. People, you can maybe saying this because you are teaching life science. What about other subjects out there? Tell me about them. Economics, accounting, our learners, let's just say our learners or our grade 12 learners, or me and you in grade 12, we are being taught accounting, my man. We are being taught agriculture, farming. You now in grade 12, why would you undermine? Why are you undermining yourself? You in grade 12 now, we can give you a land and say, here's the land, plant whatever you are planting. By the knowledge that you know that we have to have a fertile land if I'm going to farm something. We have to have a warm land if I'm going to use for pigging and what. That is your knowledge there. You stay with your knowledge, you draw a line. And then we have those who are studying accounting, those who are studying economics, those who are studying how the value, how the rand, it is increasing and how the rand is decreasing. The inflation, the what, we place them aside. Now we talk about those who are studying geography. Now they will be telling us to when to expect electricity, when to expect water, and when to expect rain, and when to build and how to build, when to open the dams, how to close them, when to... Hey Muna, wait, relax, take a chill pill, have a seat somewhere there via the train, just enjoy the ride, mother. Like the video and enjoy the ride. We are going far here. Askis. I'm tired. Askis. Okay. Let's take this serious, right? So I was just using that time because we have explained a lot of things, right? We have explained many things with our endocrine system. We've explained where our organs, or where these glands that Mr. Pepu is talking about, where are they located, right? The throat, we have thyroid, right? The brain, underneath the brain, we have a hypothalamus, and then we also have pituitary gland. I want you to come back now, let's learn now, let's learn. Under our brain we have hypothalamus, right? After hypothalamus we have pituitary gland. That is happening inside our skull, right? And then from outside our skull we are going to study the one that is in our throat, thyroid gland. From thyroid gland we are going to study two in our abdomen, in our cavity there, right? In our abdomen cavity, beneath the lungs, right? We are going to study the one called pancreas, and we are going to study the other one on top of a kidney called adrenaline. From there we go to the genitals. If you are female, you know I'm housing ovaries, and if I'm a male, I know I'm housing what? I'm housing testes. So we move on now. The one who's having the ovaries this side, they know that they are producing estrogen and they are producing progesterone. Those who are having testes that side, they know that they are producing what? Testosterone. But all those follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, they are the birth hormones. They are there in my body as a female and as a male. The follicle stimulating hormone in my female, it's going to stimulate those follicles to produce those organs, those eggs, right? And then in our male, this side, our male, we are going to produce we are going to stimulate the testes to produce spermatozoa with follicle stimulating hormone, right? And then with luteinizing hormone in our female side, we are going to activate that ovulation or the release of that egg. But in our male this side, we are going to stimulate those Leydig cells to produce testosterone. We learned about this. We are pushing. So when we reach the negative feedback mechanism, I already told you that we have to understand that our body has to maintain a homeostasis, right? When we've maintained that homeostasis, from there with that homeostasis, now we use a negative feedback mechanism. What is a negative feedback, Mr. People? A negative feedback, an organ or a change or a balance is going to be detected at one place. At that one place, something is going to be sent, or the message is going to be sent, or the impulse is going to be sent maybe to our hypothalamus. Our hypothalamus is going to send the message to our pituitary gland. Our pituitary gland is going to send, maybe let's use an example of thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. Our pituitary gland is going to release our TSH. Our TSH is going to travel with our bloodstream up until those hormones, they attach to the cell of our thyroid in our throat. From there, that thyroid is going to be stimulated to produce a chemical called, or a hormone called a thyroxine. And from the thyroxine, that circulation of thyroxine in our body, it's going to send a message back to hypothalamus. And then while we send that message back to hypothalamus, the hypothalamus now is going to send a message back to pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland is going to stop releasing of TSH. You understand? We say this is a negative feedback because the hormone that is produced in our left, or the hormone that is produced in our right, it is directly or indirectly affecting its production again. I want you to understand this. Right? We produce, let's take an example. We have three of them with thyroid. The one I'm using, right? Everybody here, we also have to use an example. Let's move on. They said we have to, here's the thing. By the way, now at the end of today's lesson, you should be able to understand the examples of negative feedback using THS and thyroxine, insulin and glucagon and diabetes. At the end of today's lesson, you should be able to know this with negative feedback and homeostasis. So when now you get to understand what is happening with homeostasis, Mr. People, we are leveling that balance, right? And then the level of that balance, it is maintained by a mechanism called a negative mechanism. What is happening with our let me use an example. We have insulin. Again, we did the stimulating a thyroid stimulating hormone. Let's use thyroid stimulating hormone first. We have thyroid stimulating hormone being produced by what? By our pituitary gland there, right? And then that pituitary gland is going to release this thyroid stimulating hormone. This thyroid stimulating hormone is going to stimulate the thyroid gland there. While it is stimulating the thyroid gland, this thyroid gland is going to stimulate another what we call hormone called thyroxine. We are going to do it thyroxine, right? And then the production of this thyroxine now being in our bloodstream, it's going to send a message to our hypothalamus so that our hypothalamus will stop this process here. So the production of the production, here we'll say hypothalamus, right? Let's use it. So the production of TSH by our pituitary gland, the production of TSH by our pituitary gland, it is negatively affecting itself, because the moment this THS it is released, it's going to start a function, or it's going to start a process, that process is going to produce something, that when that something it is produced, it's going to inhibit, or it's going to stop the production of that thing that was produced in the first place. Hence we said it's a negative feedback. Why you are the correla when you are scoring an own goal. When being released, here's the thing, when being born, it was a disadvantage to the people who born to you. It was disadvantage to your parents, because you being born, you are going to have something, or you're going to chow something, or you are going to cause something to produce something, that thing is going to prevent your parents to produce another person. So that was it. I'm not sure if my explanation is making sense. So we can also use insulin and glucagon, right? We know that insulin, it is produced where? In our pancreas, right? Is it pancreas, right? And then this pancreas is going to produce what? It's going to produce insulin, right? It's going to produce insulin. And then in this insulin is going to do what? It's going to convert glucose, right? We are going to say this glucose is going to be converted into what? Into glycogen, right? Glycogen, right? So this glucose into glycogen. And then this glycogen here is going to make, or because we have glucose, right? Here's the thing. We want this insulin, it is produced because the glucose here, it is increasing. Right? The glucose in this step, it is forcing the pancreas to release insulin. And then the insulin is going to cause the glucose there to be absorbed to glycogen, right? And then the glycogen, now this when this is happening, it means that the balance here in our glucose, it is decreasing. Now it is decreasing, so we have to do something. We have to come with that process. Yesterday I told you that with we have to produce a glucagon from our pancreas, right? It means that our pancreas is going to produce that glucagon there, glucagon there, and that glucagon is going to convert this glycogen back to our glucose here, right? So you can see that this is a negative feedback. The production of insulin, it's going to enter, it's going to make, it's also going to affect the production of insulin again when we come back that side, right? So we can produce insulin. When we produce insulin, it means that our pancreas, it has to stop producing insulin and start producing glucagon. Is it not that a negative feedback? And then when glucagon is being produced, now it's affecting it back, it's affecting it again, because when that glucose arises, it's going to cancel that production of glucagon and then now start production of insulin. So that is how you have to understand this negative feedback, right? So in our negative feedback, they told us, or they're going to want us to learn that we have the imbalance, right? This will be our homeostasis. And then I told you about homeostasis, right? The process of maintaining constant. So this process of maintaining our constant here is going to stay, it has to stay balanced like that, right? So this message, the moment I told you that we have the receptors, I told you, I'm not saying this for this first time, that we have to have receptors somewhere that are going to recept something, a change. That change, that is an imbalance to our homeostasis. I use an example of water. I use an example of carbon. Here's the thyroxine. Here's glucose. Let's use another example of water. Right? For an example, we are going to use another example. Let's say we are having water, right? And then in this water of ours, the water, it is increasing in our bloodstream. Understand the thing. Understand that we have a tissue. Okay, we have a cell, right? You know that we have a cell. This cell joining like this. This will be our cells, right? Making up a tissue, right? And then we also have the liquid here. The liquid inside, you can see the space there. The liquid inside there, we call it as a tissue fluid. So that fluid there, let's talk about that fluid there. That fluid is the fluid that is maintaining our cells. You know that our cells, it is permeable to water, right? So the water has to arrive let's talk about this. The water is to arrive to a certain part of our cells, and then those cells now they can absorb, right? The water being spread out of capillaries. You know this, we did this. The last part of our water is the capillaries. The last part of our vessels, our blood vessel, is the capillaries, right? So we'll see them there. Yeah, this will be the capillaries in this story of ours. This will be the capillaries, right? Then from the capillaries joining, forming one thing like that, and then that one thing, it will be our vessels bringing. It will be our artery bringing the blood, or bringing blood constant. We talk the blood. Content, we say the blood content, because this blood of ours, it is not made out of a red blood fella. We talked about this. If you follow me day by day, you'll understand. Mr. Mpepu, you once told us that our blood is comprised of many things. As I say, a blood, when you give me a bowl of blood, you are giving me many things. That red color that I see, those are the red blood cells. Where? In my blood. And then I will give you a cup of a blood like this. And then in this cup of a blood, the blood that you are going to see inside, the red thing that you are going to see there inside the blood, that will be that red color. That will be our red blood cells. Releasing that red color, right? Or removing that red colors, right? And then also, in that jar of yours, or in that cup of yours, we also have plasma. We talked about this. We also have plasma. Consists of water, right? It have another things, but the cataracts, those cataracts, you know, they are going to work for clotting, right? Hemoglobin, we talked about this. And then, you know, those cataracts, they are going to form, they are supplied with our blood for in case of cut. The moment you cut yourself, those cataracts, they are going to join there, and then they are going to form that clot. We learned this, right? We learned this. And then we also have a part called plasma. In that plasma, we have water. That water is the one that is transmitted by our blood to our cells. So when we reach our cell, our capillaries, they are going to release that water to the cells. Right, and then that water that is in the cells there is the one that is being detected by our brain, and then that brain send a message to our pituitary gland to release ADH. That water, when you say that your water is not balanced, it means that you have more water. When you have more water, what is going to happen? Where do we say you have this more water? Here in our blood capillaries. So it means that this content here in between our cells here, it is directly proportional to whatever it is happening with our vessels there. So if in our vessels we have more water content, it means that even in these cells here, in this fluid here, in our intestinal space of our cells, we also have high fluid of water. You get that, right? So when we say your body have more water, the water, it is in our blood. Because that blood, that water available is still going to be is going to reach our capillaries that side. So we now will focus about the arteries, the one that are sending the oxygenated blood to the body, right? So what is going to happen, Mr. Mpepu? When we say that you have more water in your blood, it means that the blood in these vessels, it is higher. Right, I told you that yesterday, or if it's not yesterday, that our body, they said that it is comprised of 60% of water. Counting that water in our capillaries. So our blood is also made out of water. Even our cells there. So you can see that because that water, you know that water is very much slippery. In our nephron, in our kidney, it is getting outside that is. And then the ADH can also influence those convoluted tubules to be permeable to water, to lose more water. And then when that water, it is loosened, because now the osmosis, our capillaries, they have less water in them. That is going to force the water to move from higher concentration, which will be the surrounding of our tubules in our nephron inside our blood. So when you said you have high content or you have water, Mr. Mpepu, your body has to bring this water down. So what is going to happen? Your body is going to allow more water to be released. Where? At the water station, at the kidneys, there, down there. You have a water station in your body where the water has been filtered. Stop saying education in South Africa stop saying that. Here in life science, we are taking science and technology and put it in one place and learn this life science. Or in this life of ours, what is happening? What is it that is happening? They told us in grade 11 that we have what? We have a water station, kidneys. The basic function of our nephron. to filtrate the water, the glucose, the urine and what, right? You tell ammonia and what we talked about this in grade 11. So when we say that your water is high, there at the water station, that's where the action has to happen. Where is your water being detected that your water is high? In hypothalamus. You did this in grade 11. That in hypothalamus we have osmoreceptors, right? The one that are going to accept or that are going to recept that, hey, water more it's too much, or water more it's less. It means that they have it's the cell. This cell may be having the receptors like this. So when the water passes, maybe they have 1, 2, 3, something like this. And then when the water passes, these receptors here, they are always what we call, they are always activated, right? They are recepting that, oh, in this water, maybe the movement of water, whatever there, you can use your imagination. Maybe there's a villi. You know that we also have the villis in our body, like crystal and what, when the water or when what. So they are recepting that water. Let's just say they are recepting that water. When they feel that we are more recepted or we are more stimulated, it means that that blood, it have more water. So what they are going to do in hypothalamus, they are going to send a message to pituitary gland to stop production of ADH, right? Because we no longer want water in our body. It's like now we are saying, hey, let the water go out. You are sending the message, and that message that's saying that let the water go out. You are not. That's not how our body work. The message has to be sent. You still remember back there we used to do letters and go by the street, receiving letters. Today it's digitally. I just press a message here, and then it goes to different addresses. Right, but that's what it means, that today the mechanism that we are using, nervous system, the fast one, the tata. Now hello. Now, but back there, I have to write a letter. After writing a letter, kids inside an envelope, and then call another guy and can send, and then go south, or go further east, or go further west. The last person that you will reach by the water, give this letter to. And then that person will have to read that letter. After reading that letter, give that person the response. And then that person, maybe then from there, things started to evolve, right? Again, we start to become more civilized, and then now we start to stand with the pigeon. We now educate our flying animals, right? To send them. Or we can send a flying bird somewhere to send the message, right? Because we can educate them. Then from there, we start now developing our education, our technology. Then from technology now, can just sit in my office or in my bank and say whatever I'm saying, and the message will be sent to the rest of the South Africa and the world. This is the beauty of things, and also the disadvantage of this. So let's move on, right? I don't want to waste much of my time talking about those ones, but this is what is happening, right? The message has to be sent. So where are we sending that message? Start with our hypothalamus. Our hypothalamus is going to send a message to pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland is going to release what we call ADH. And then you know that the moment we say the ADH, it is released. Any message is sent. It's either we're sending the message to stop production of ADH, or we are sending a message to initiate the production of ADH. That is the negative feedback. You know that when that ADH there, now we can going to do that. When that ADH is in your blood system, it's going to affect what? It's going to affect our kidney there. Right, when the kidney are affected, that water is going to increase. We are going to do like this. That water there is going to increase, and then this water here increase is going to affect our hypothalamus, and then with hypothalamus is going to send a message to our pituitary gland to stop production of this. That is the negative feedback. The moment you find yourself outside the halakasha, that is your last. That is your last moment. The moment when now you woke and up, a child, there's no going back. Again. Here's the same. The moment the hormone is being released, there's a possibility. It knows that yes, I'm going to cut the production of my myself. Right? So that is happening. Right? So thank you for being here, guys. I think we are done here. Then we are also done here. Let's not waste much of our time. We did homeostasis today. Let's just keep our time. Then we're also going to talk about homeostasis there and negative feedback, as you can see them there. They're saying that we have to do this negative feedback. Then I told you when we have more of thyroxine, we said we have hyper. We said hyper and hypo. Hyper means more hyperthyroxine. We are going to have our goiter. And then here when we are the glucose, actually we want to control the glucose. So when the glucose it is increasing, here we want it to increase. It means that your insulin, it is not working or it is not being produced. Hence we come and inject the insulin. And then when now you said that you have diabetes. You get that, right? Let I get that. Diabetes mellitus. Hence we have two type of diabetes. We have the one that we can inject the insulin, and then also we have the one that we can they use a medication to stimulate your where's your insulin being produced, pancreas, to initiate your pancreas to produce that insulin. So it means that your body have the pancreas, and it's just that the pancreas is not getting the more impulse, the message to produce that insulin. Or you don't have pancreas, so when now maybe your pancreas is being damaged. So your pancreas, when it's damaged, it means that the insulin that is going to be produced, it will be low, or it will be short. So hence we come and inject you with that insulin to boost that level. I hope you understand that, right? So we have talked about everything here. Homeostasis being the process to maintain less. So let's pass by we are done here. Let's not waste our time, right? We are learning this and we understand this. Now we can now move to our negative feedback, Mr. Pip. We agree with you that we know this. We know this. We did this. With thermoregulation, we're still going to talk about that. Relax. And then here, exocrine gland, endocrine gland. We talked about this. Mr. Pip. And then endocrine glands, we moved. We know where is hypothalamus, we know where is pituitary gland, where is thyroids, where is thyroid gland, where is another one down there, where is pancreas, where is other. Just when you think them, right, or when you memorize them like this. Let me use the black color. Memorize them like this. I have hypothalamus there, and then I have pituitary gland there. I have what? Thyroxine there. I have those two kidneys, adrenaline, and then I have what? Pancreas there, right? Then from there I have those two. If I'm a female, I'm going to have the other one. I'm going to have the other one. If I'm a male, I'm going to have the other one here. I'm going to have the other one here. So this for the male, and then these two for the female. So you know that I have hypothalamus, I have pituitary gland in my head there. Then from there I have thyroids in my neck. From there, I go to matumbu here. Matumbu, the stomach. I have to adrenaline, and pancreas. And then if I'm a female, I will be having these two ovaries. And if I'm a male, I'll be having these two testes. Right? Like this. The testes. The balls. That's what they call them, right? So we did this. And then but yes, there's the thing, negative feedback. But a negative feedback mechanism is an interaction between two hormones in which one hormone stimulates an increase in another hormone, which then inhibits the first hormone, thus restoring balance. It might find like a confusing statement, but the same thing that I was talking about. The hormone is going to be released here, and then the release of this hormone is going to force something here, and then this something is going to force that release of this hormone. Then the release of this hormone is going to cancel there, and then this is going to cancel this release of this hormone here. This is what it's saying. A negative feedback mechanism is an interaction, right, between two hormones. Which hormone? This hormone and this hormone, 1 and 2, right? In which one hormone, this hormone, stimulates an increase in another hormone. So it's going to stimulate here so that this one here will be more increased, which then inhibits the first hormone, which then this increasing is going to inhibit here on this location. So that is going to inhibit here. When we say inhibit, it's going to stop the production of our hormone number 1. I hope you understand that, right? That is the negative feedback. Oh, you are scoring your own goal. That's the own goal. You are scoring on your side, right? So you have to direct your goals to one side. So let's stop this. Also in our African culture, there we have this thing of scoring our own goals. You find Mr. Mpepu teaching life science, how we bad about someone, and then you come here, you start to badmouth about him. Hey, urongo. Hey, ning aringi. Hey. What happened yesterday, guys. So now we are moving on here. We are on a train. train a reverse go pele ya go pele re fitla go pele re tlo go no change floor, then we turn it back, and then we turn around, we go back, but now we are moving forward. So when if you'll come here and be saying, hey, Mr. Mpepu said what, maybe commenting on monohybrid. When did we do monohybrid? I've forgotten. Tell me about what is happening today. What you hear today, tell me now. Because after posting this video, I also go back and rewatch this video. So I will know when you ask me, or when time 5.5, or you can go and say time at time 10:50 or at time 10:10. You said this and this and this. Maybe that's where we can go and replay. But if you just come and say, hey, neuron, yesterday you said neuron is doing this, today you are saying neuron is doing that. Hey, we are learning here. So let's move on. Negative feedback, right? But the following general sequence of events is the negative feedback mechanism. This negative feedback mechanism of ours, it has a step, right? One thing, we have to have a receptor. You know, this kickstart. That is the engine. Ignition. We have to have a receptor, right? And that receptor there, that will be the receptor there. That receptor there is going to dictate what? The imbalance. Right? Detected by what? By those receptors. So the first thing, we need that receptor there. And then that receptor is going to recept that imbalance there. So another book, they will say, we start by having an imbalance. If the imbalance was not there, the receptors were not working. But now I beg to differ, because we are born with these receptors ready for the imbalance. So it means that when the imbalance is happening, the receptors are there, they are just going to ignite, or they are just going to send a necessary message. So now we'll say this system start with the receptor. And then when this receptor now is going to be stimulated by the imbalance, whether the imbalance is going up or the imbalance is going down, all this they are going to stimulate that receptor. You know, the function of receptor is to convert the stimulated stimuli into an impulse, right? So those receptors there, they are going to recept that. Right? Where? Everywhere. Maybe in our hypothalamus, in our stomach, wherever. Right? So those receptors, when they recept that, maybe they can be chemical receptors, those that are being recepted by chemical messengers, or we can have those nervous system receptors that they are recepted by what? They are recepted by our nerve cells or neurons stimulus. Let's just call them like that. All of them, they are stimulus, right? They are stimulus. They are the external environment that we can detect. That is the stimuli, right? So we have to detect that stimuli. So here we have the imbalance. So the imbalance has to be, yes, number 5 there. We can use our provided structure here. You can see that the first thing here, number 1, they place number 1 there. They want our imbalance there, or our homeostasis there, to shift, right? The moment that homeostasis shift, it might be shifting that way, as you can see, or it might be shifting that way, whatever way, right? So that thing is going to be recepted. That is going to cause an imbalance, and that imbalance is going to set an alarm. Let's just do it like that. That alarm is now, and then when we say the alarm is when we say that this control center, it is stimulated, the control center, it is stimulated, that we are sending our message to our control center, right? It means that the receptor is going to receive the message, and then via our dendrites or via our axon, we send message to our hypothalamus in this structure of ours, right? Let's use like this. Then we send it to hypothalamus, right? Well, that's it, the control center. We did central nervous system, right? And in central nervous system, we include hypothalamus in central nervous system. And we said this is the control center of our body. So when that message reach in our hypothalamus, what is going to happen? The control center respond. Our hypothalamus is going to respond. It's going to respond by sending a message to what? Also the impulse to what? To our pituitary gland. We can say pituitary gland like that. Right? It's when our control center doing what? Responding. Our control center responds by sending a message to our pituitary gland. From there, where the message center to the target organs, which the receptor effector. But a message sent, here the message is going to be sent. The pituitary gland now is going to send the message. So the pituitary gland is going to release a specific message. If the message here, it was saying remove thyroid stimulating hormone, your pituitary gland is going to remove thyroid stimulating hormone. If the message here was remove a prolactin, our pituitary gland is going to produce prolactin. If the message here is saying the imbalance was detected and the what we call the fixing of that imbalance, we have to produce luteinizing hormone. The pituitary gland, it was producing the pituitary hormone, right? It means that the hormone here is going to be produced. The hormone there is going to be produced. So with that producing of hormone, hence we say the message is sent. The hormone, it is sent. Right now the process can relax. Here the process takes time, right? So now the process can relax and see how the feedback is going to be interpreted. So while the message is sent, it's sent where? To the target organs. So this hormone there is going to travel up until it reach what? The target organ. We call it a target what? Target organ, right? This can be a gland, this can be a tissue, this can be a cell, this can be an organ, this can be a lungs, this can be a heart, this can be what? This can be your tongues, this can be your lateral gland in your eyes to produce tears. That can be the function of this hormone, to the target hormone. When we say a target organ, that is what we are referring to. Can be your eye, can be whatever. It means that the organ that is targeted. We know that this hormone is going to be produced through inside it's going to be spread into our bloodstream, and then with our bloodstream it's going to travel with our body, entire body, right? So up until it reach the target organ, it will just be moving around, nje. It will be just be moving around up until it's same as testosterone. I release testosterone. That testosterone will be just moving around with my blood, going into my head, going down into my legs, going down into my hands, now activating those target organs, right? Those will be target organs. Can be the hand, activating the hand to be rough. Can be the chin, producing those beard. Can be the voice, decreasing that voice, right? It can be the hair, increasing maybe hair production. Can be, do you understand? All those things can be production of spermatozoa. Now I'll start to produce spermatozoa. So these target organs can be anything. It can also be a gland. Example, thyroid gland. It can also be a gland, right? Thyroid gland, when we are going to release or it can be an ovaries where we are releasing what? An estrogen. So this is the message sent to a target organ, but which are effectors. So these target organ, they are the one that we are going to refer them as our effector. Where did we learn this, Mr. Mpepu? Nervous system. That in the nervous system, the message is going to be sent up until it come back and hit a receptor. We talked about the reflex arc. The impulse is going to be sent to the central nervous system, and then inside the central nervous system, we are going to send a relevant message to our receptor or to our effector via the motor neuron. So if we are sending the message to our effector, if maybe, for example, we are using a human arm, we can send a message to say, relax, don't do anything. Or we can also send a message to contract. And while that muscles are contracting, the hand is moving away. That is the relevant. So here, the relevant information will be this message from our master gland, pituitary gland. It will be this hormone. This hormone now will be that most interpretation. Right? The message was sent to the pituitary gland, and then the pituitary gland, the message that is going to release, that now will be the last ambassador. That now will be the last ambassador. Right? And then this hormone is going to affect our effector there. And then with effector being affected, what is going to happen, Mr. People? The effector respond. The effector there, or the target, is respond, Mr. People. We talked about the thyroxine. So if the thyroxine is going to be affected by this hormone, what will be the response of thyroid there? It will be the release of thyroxine, another hormone, right? Thyroxine. Right? So the effector there is going to respond, right? And then from there, it opposes, reverse the imbalance. This thyroxine of ours, it's going now to inhabit this message here that is sent to our hypothalamus there. It means that it's going to cool down those receptors, or it's going to cool down that message is sent, because even that message that is being sent, maybe it was sent by hormones in our blood. So it means that this thyroid is being produced, now going and enter and or close that receptors there, so that hey, Muna, the thing that you were crying for, it is being resolved. So this thyroxine here now come and bind to these receptors there, and those receptors now become relaxed. Then we say that our things, they are balanced now. Balance, it is restored. So if we were going up, it means that now the things can now go down. If the things it was going down, it means now the thing, it will be going up. So yes, the thing in a simplified manner, we have the homeostasis there. In homeostasis, the receptor, they're going to recept it, send the message to our control center. Our control center is going to send message to our effector. Our effector is going to make sure that our homeostasis is rebalanced. In a simplified manner, in a nutshell, that's what they say. Right? Fourth thing, left, right, center. West, north, south, west, south, east. North, it will say south, east, north, west. Right? We'll have to start with our east receptor there. And then from our east, we go north to our head there to report. Right? I'm not sure. But control center, that's where kithabi. Right? You go and report your thing. Or hey, me, koshi mang or mang wena ngenkulu. I'm here to report my worries. But what is it? I'm coming from the water refinery down there. That will be a message from our kidney, right? And then that person will say, I'm coming from, that messenger will say, hi, I'm coming from the refinery down there, the kidney side. Then the head will ask, hey, what happened, Mr. Mpepu? And then the messenger will say, we found that we are lacking water, or the water down there, it is very much low. So we need a respond. Then the command or the control center is going to take the message and say, it's fine, noted, rest assured, go back and work. Then the messenger goes back. Then the control center now turn around. After turning around, goes to the relevant party there, pituitary gland, and tell them, hey, Mr. Pituitary gland, I want you to release that ADH. Or release ADH. Then the ADH is released, now rushing inside our blood vessels to our kidneys. When it reach our kidneys, straight to our nephrons, open those valves so that the water that is being released to the outside bladder, to the urine, it is reabsorbed back. When we open those valves, we reabsorb the water back, we reabsorb the water back. The soldiers here, they are already sent to do that there. Right? They are opening up until another messenger will be sent there. The messenger will also, I get they are opening here. They are opening. The messenger will, this homeostasis here is also going to need to send the message again to say, hey, messenger, go to the control center and tell them that, hey, we are enough. Or our blood now, it's having enough water. Then the messenger will still move to our control center, saying that Kakamel, Chidadamuhad, Mbiraru, Iwenewa refined enough. I'm here to report that the water level in our blood, it is enough. And then the king will say, it's fine. Go and work. Again, when you are the reporter, when I just go back and report the thing, when that's your work, you don't have to go and open. I don't have to tell you, hey, go and There are people who will go and open. So now I'll turn back to the pituitary gland. Say, Mr. Pituitary gland, now you can stop the release of the soldiers. The war it has been won. Relax. Then with the stopping of releasing of the message, and then this message here, when it's no longer going to reach the soldiers there to open the work. So it means that the soldiers there, they're just going to relax and not open that valve. Up until maybe another time, they will close that valve. And then it means that with this message not coming down, when this message not coming down here to open that valve, that those valves now they can close by themselves and then they shut. Up until that message again is coming to say, hey, open the valve. That is negative impact. That is what is happening in our body, right? So we are going to do this in a very broad manner. Yes, tomorrow, or we'll start tomorrow. I was thinking of starting tomorrow so that we can cap all of them, right? But it's started figure 7, and imbalance triggers the stimulus to the receptors. There's the stimulus that are recepted there at 2, and then when stimulated, the receptors generate an impulse. That is the message that is going to be sent, right? Impulse to where? In our brain. In our brain we send impulse. We don't send the chemicals there. We send the message, or you phone there. You don't come. We don't do one-on-one. We don't do face to face. You call. I care you have an email. When send me an email. Now I will send the message to the relevant people. Send me an SMS, my guy. You don't have to come here. Stay wherever you are. Now things are very much, you understand. Now we can use Facebook. We can just go to my Facebook and send me the message. You don't have to come here. Now we don't have to be face to face. No. Right? Now I will go to those that I will have to go to them face to face and tell them the message. Right? The message is fine. Or the person are doing what? The people outside, they are angry, or the people outside, they want this and this and this and that. Right? And not telling the messenger, maybe not via the Facebook. When you send the Facebook was only, here's the thing, the YouTube is only here for me to send messages to you. I hope you understand that. Or the Facebook there. Again, we are taking this into our life thing day by day. The Facebook or the WhatsApp or the social media is there for you to send me a message. And I don't have to reply to you wherever you are. When I just send the message, now I'll just blue tick you to show that the message what was received. Then now we'll go to the relevant people. So let's move on. So here's what is happening. That impulse is going to be sent, and then that impulse is going to be transmitted now. Another messenger transmitting that impulse to the control center at number 3 up there. Then the control center responds by sending an impulse to the effector. So that is the impulse now, sending where? To our pituitary gland. So our pituitary gland is going to be electrified. Then that is going to send the message to the effector, which is the target organ. Right? So if it's pituitary gland, the message is going to be sent to the pituitary gland. If it's the other receptors, the message is going to be sent there. And then the target organ then reverses the imbalance, and balance, it is restored. Then this target gland here is going to release, if it's a thyroid, it's going to release a thyroxine, and then the process now is fine. When can we see the producing of thyroxine? When our body now, or when our metabolism is decreasing, when the production of glucose is decreasing. Now when we are depleting that energy, you can feel now, I'm tired. Your body now is tired. The message is going to be sent to your control center. And then inside your control center, they will receive that message. People, they are tired. They want what? Energy. So the message will be blue ticked, and then the message now will be transferred to the second effector there, the organ there. And then in that organ will tell them that, hey, produce thyroid stimulating hormone. That thyroid stimulating hormone is going to affect the organ, and that organ is going to produce thyroxine. And with that thyroxine in our system, we are going to increase the heart rate, or we are going to increase the metabolic rate of our body. So it means that now our body is going to work more, or our body is going to increase the production of those ATPs. Now the energy is replenished. Now you have that power back. Now you have that energy back. Do you understand? Yes. So let's move on. We are done. Our time is up. And then homeostasis controls the internal environment, as you can see. But the tissue fluid which surrounds our cell, this is what I was talking about. The tissue fluid which surround our cells constitute the internal environment. So when I say the internal environment, I'm referring to the fluid that is our tissue fluid. The external environment, it is something that is external, that blood fluid. That what we call blood. Sharp, it's blood, because everywhere it is start with blood. More carbon dioxide, it's blood. So this blood run up until it constitute the water between the capillaries and our cells. So that water between our capillaries and cells, or that liquid between capillaries and our cells, that is the liquid that we have to refer to as our internal environment. Right? But the condition within the cells depend on the conditions within the internal environment. I was talking about it. If the cell is like this, and the cell and the outside environment is salty, what is going to happen? Osmosis, the water is going to move from our cells, and then our cells, they are going to be wrinkled like this, and then they are not going to function properly. So we have to maintain this water here. If it's about salt, we have to maintain the salt balance. If it's about water, we have to maintain the water balance, so that if we have more water here, the water is going to get inside our cell, and our cell is going to burst. Osmosis, right? Hypertonic and hypotonic, grade 11, grade 10. Excuse. And then when faced with changes from either the external or internal environment, the human body controls this effect and homeostasis it is achieved, right? So you can see that this is homeostasis, this is the state of our bodily balance. And then we also have to maintain, or we also have to achieve, it's an optimal, right? When we say that, yeah, engine or the engine of this train is still running, we have maintained the homeostasis. The moment things start, that is an alarm to say, hey, come and fix something here, right? Then if everything is smooth, everything is fine, chela malash, are loli wewa I, where do lie. But without homeostasis, organ system and ultimately the whole organism, you can see that we have an organism, right? Our train in this picture will be this organism. What is an organism? It is an organism. It is the system that is comprised of organ, same as a train. The one head is not the train, right? So the train is constrained of the head and the containers. That is the train now. The snake now that you can see, the snake, it have the head there, and then this, all of these made out an communism, socialism, you know this like EFF sizoyithatha nge-freedom fight nge-socialist, right? So socialism, it is the system sharp, or it's an organization. Like we are putting things together to function as one system. Like here in our organisms, it means that we put together organs. The organs we put together to function as one process. Hence, we have an organism and an AI, artificial intelligence. That is not an organism. It is not comprised of organs. Do we say a chicken is an organism? Yes. Can we say a cow is an organism? Yes. Can we say a horse is an organism? Yes. Can we say a human is an organism? Yes. Can we say a baboon is an organism? Yes. And then if all of us we are organisms, then we are one. We're still going to do evolution, right? Hey, people, when coming from baboons and what. Hey, I think that topic is going to be interesting. So I can't wait to come and indulge you or learn with you that topic here out of Africa hypothesis. So let's move on. Let's finish this. We are done. And then maybe negatively affected. That organism can be negatively affected if the homeostasis is not kept constant, right? The organs, the system, these two, right? This system is made out of organs, and then organs, they come together. From organ we have tissue, from tissue we have cells. From cells we have gene, we have DNA, we have chromosome, from chromosome we have gene, from gene we have nucleotides, from nucleotides we have we go on up until the smallest molecule. So we are going to maintain 6 of them, right? We are going to maintain 6 of them, but the important variables and homeostasis mechanism that will be discovered are these. So these are the 6 that we are going to concentrate on only. The mechanism, right? We have the mechanism of water. I talked about this yesterday, right? We have the mechanism of water there. We have to balance the water. Where in our internal environment, tissue, fluid. So where we control this, we see this, or we control this via our vessels. If we can control the water in our blood vessels, automatically we are controlling the water in our fluid space. So we are also going to learn the control of salt, and then from salt the regulation of thyroxine, right? This thyroxine, the production or not production, right? Here the maintenance, we can bring it up or we can bring it low. And then maintenance here, when we say maintenance, we can turn it up, we can turn it low. Here thyroxine, it's either we are producing it or we are not producing it. And then the maintenance of glucose, you can see the maintenance there. Maintenance is just that we can twitch it up or we can twitch it low. We can put it, you understand, it's a volume. You can put it at, you can decrease or increase, but with our regulation it's just on and off. This one is an on and off. It's either it's on, we are producing thyroxine, or it's off, we are not producing thyroxine. Same as with our regulation of CO2 there. With our CO2, it's either we are releasing that CO2 or we are not. There's no way that you take in carbon dioxide so that you can increase the taking in of carbon. You understand, the system is not going to work. What we do, we take in oxygen, or our body, it has evolved, or it has adapted to separate those air that is passing in, take in oxygen, send that oxygen to our cells. The cells there, red blood cells, pick up that carbon dioxide, bring it back. So when we have more carbon dioxide, we now understand that no, man, it means that oxygen is not coming in as expected, right? So we also have the body temperature there, a regulation of body temperature. So this one, we are putting it, it's either you are hot 37 or you are cold. When you are dead, that's when you are cold. The moment you come 25 degrees 10, that ends when someone is dead. We just come and feel the temperature. If the temperature is down, we can conclude that the person is dead. But if the person is still warm, we can say, let's give that person a time, maybe faintil. That's how we can also use this knowledge, right? When you touch, not I also see this, not when you touch someone and feel that cold. No, you can also place your two fingers inside the mouth, right? That's where you can feel the internal heat there. You can place your finger inside the mouth there. So if you feel that the tongue there is still warm, or the inside of the mouth is still warm, then you are fine. But if you feel like the inside of your mouth is cold, the person is dead. We can confirm that, right? So we have to regulate that temperature. We have to regulate it so that it don't go down, or it does not go up and boil our body, because we have proteins, we have another hormones that if this goes up, these other hormones, they're not going to function, because this hot temperature is going to kill, or is going to denature those proteins. We learn this during protein synthesis, right? So that will conclude our day. As you can see, we are maintaining mechanism, we are maintaining homeostasis by maintaining this negative mechanism. Water, as you can see, the effector will affect kidneys and the skin. So the skin is going to produce sweats, the kidney is going to reabsorb back that water. So if we have more water, we are going to release it by the skin as sweat. So if we have less water, you are not going to sweat, right? And then salt there will also affect the kidney, aldosterone. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. And then we have carbon dioxide there. And then carbon dioxide, we are going to affect the lungs, so that the lungs will start now to beat at a higher rate, so that the oxygen can come in and out. And then we're also going to affect the heart, so that the blood will be transported at a higher rate, or we increase the blood pressure, right? And then we have the glucose there, and then we are going to affect the liver with our insulin, so that the liver will store that glucose as glycogen, right? And we can also affect our pancreas to produce those insulin, or to produce that glucagon, to convert that glucagon glycogen. Hey, you see, monally problem. We have insulin, right? Insulin, is it like this or like this, right? The insulin is going to convert glucose into glycogen, glycogen. Then this insulin, we also have glucagon. Glucagon, is it R here, or it's like this, right? So here's the thing, we said insulin is going to convert glucose into glycogen, and then glucagon is going to attack that glycogen to our glucose to convert it to. So this will be the cycle, this one. So this will be the cycle, and the direction will be our insulin. If we are turning left, it will be insulin. If we are turning right, it will be glucagon, right? We find glucagon in our blood. We know that your blood is suffering, doesn't have a glucose, and it wants your body to produce that glucose. We can just give you the glucose. We know we're not. But we cannot give you glucose if your body is having more glucose. So if we can test and see that, hey, this person is having more insulin, it means that we can inject that insulin, so that maybe we can give you medication, so that your liver can now convert that glucose into glucagon. Or we can do blood what cleaning, right? So whatever. Then we have thyroxine there, being T4, also called T4, produced by our thyroid, and it's there for cellular metabolism, and then it is produced by our thyroid gland. So the target there, it will be released from our thyroid gland, sent message by our TSH. So the TSH will come here, and then this one will produce this one, right? And then the regulating by the hormone thyroxine, slightly variation in the amount of thyroxine can be severe effect to a metabolic rate of an individual, right? So if your metabolic it's increasing, we suspect that the person have more of thyroxine. And if we go and test your blood and we find that we have more of thyroxine, we conclude we're high. It means that the person metabolism is high. So unyaka are moving maybe glucose, so that the energy will, hence while for the glucose maybe. Then we have the temperature there. Then the temperature will be the skin and yeah, it will be the skin and the internal organs, right? The tatazilling, the muscles, what, so that if the temperature is low, your body has to vibrate to create that energy internally. But if the outside environment it is hot, it means that your body is going to be warm inside, and then we have to reduce that temperature by removing those sweats. So when you are cold, hence you don't sweat, right? Hey, you have to sweat in life, you know. That thing, the hot water and the stone, then we are initiating that sweating, right? We learned or we understand that with that practice, our body has to open and then release those and we open and we clean those glands of ours. While we are doing that, we are cleaning our body. So thank you for being here, guys. Tomorrow we are starting with our negative feedback, osmoregulation, those five of them. This one, right? 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6. But with negative feedback, we do negative feedback up until thyroxine. So the temperature there will be studying more into details, the structure of skin, how the skin is produced. And that's it. That's it from me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you. Until we meet again, let's meet tomorrow. And if I'm not mistaken, what are we going to do tomorrow? If for you to plan, we are done. Tomorrow is Thursday, right? So Thursday we are not going to do negative feedback. We are going to, again, now we know negative feedback. Now we can explain what is happening with our glucose, right? Now we can explain what is happening with our carbon dioxide. We can give a briefly, right? Next week we are just going to be learning it in fully, just giving you the understanding day by day. But for now, you understand what is happening with glucose, right? You can give a brief explanation, right? Mr. People told me that if I have more glucose, the message is going to be sent negative feedback. If I have more glucose, the message is going to be sent to my hypothalamus, and then the message is going to be sent to our pancreas, and then pancreas there, it's going to stop, or if we have more glucose, the pancreas is going to produce more insulin, and that insulin is going to stimulate the reabsorption or the storage of our glucose. You know that. You know thyroxine, right? So tomorrow let's do question and paper, previous questions, right? With this knowledge, then you and now you can see where are you standing. If we come about a question asking you maybe to complete a flow, if maybe we are saying that we have maybe like this is a human being, this is a throat, right? And then we have our gland there, and then they do something like this, then they do something like this, and then they ask you what is the this will be the neck, right? So they ask you which hormone is this one, which hormone is this one, which hormone is this one, which gland is this one, which gland is this one, which hormone is this one, and maybe what this hormone is going to do to this gland. Do you understand? So if when now you are being able to produce this cycle, then we are fine. We can move on to negative feedback. But if you cannot come up about with this small brief explanation of what will happen if my body have more thyroxine, so we can maybe come back and do it more again. So for now, tomorrow it's a date. Let's meet tomorrow doing previous questions and answers, right? Thank you for being here. Tomorrow we'll be doing this, guys, right? Saying where are you falling? Are you ready to cross the river Jordan, or you are still at that side? So if you are still at that side, you'll still go back and do revision. But if you are ready to then we move on, we do negative feedback, and then from there straight to the north, a response of animals, a response of plants, from response of plants deep down to our generation and our history, out of Africa hypothesis, and then we are done. We relax, we write our final examination, we celebrate, we do whatever we want to do. We travel. Those who want to go to Cape Town, we go to Cape Town. Those who want to go to Kimberley, that now our family, what do we call, giving, achieving, what do we call, what do we call the process, giving you something because you have achieved something. We are doing what, the thing, right, the name. So they will be giving you those things, giving you the money, giving you the coupons, giving you the tickets to go and spend and cool up your brain, because you were using your brain non-stop. Just go back and relax, digest those hormones that you released for the stress. Hence we said distress. You understand? Think about something else now. Activate your brain by something else other than the stress of life science, right? So that was it from me. My name is Mr. Mpepu. If you know better, you will do better. And then up until we meet again, signing out. Ilishia le khotso, khotso ngabe lilina, mlalo kwa bena batho bote, kurula ko bana ngwina, ukuthula ko benani, khotso ngabe lilina. Until we meet again, peace be unto you. Amen, amen, amen. Mr. Mpepu signing out. Let me tomorrow, guys. Peace, peace, peace.